thought that if I left, it would stop. The noise, the dreams, that thing beneath the street lamp. But I was wrong. She appears where only I should be. She moves when I stand still. She remembers what I've tried to forget. Because she was already here. I moved here to be alone. That's the truth, the real reason. Not the fresh air, not the cheaper rent, not the change of pace. I wanted to disappear, quietly, slowly, and for a while, it worked. The house is small, one floor, faded blue siding, a crooked porch step that moans if you look at it too hard. It sits near the end of a dead-end street, tucked behind a cluster of pine trees like it's hiding from something. No one walks here. Cars don't pass unless they're lost. Even the birds sound distant. It was what I needed. After the year I had, my father's death, a breakup that left splinters in my chest, the job unraveling in a single brutal phone call, silence felt like medicine. At night I'd walk, just a short loop, down the gravel driveway, past the hedges, around to the old street lamp at the bend. Every night, same rhythm, same air, same tired hum from the lamp overhead. It buzzed like a dying insect, flickered sometimes, but the light, that orange sodium glow, it was steady enough. And under that lamp, I'd always see my shadow. It followed me, long, narrow, calm, stretched across cracked pavement like an old memory. It comforted me in some strange way. Until one night, it was already there. I hadn't even left the house. I remember glancing out the front window, just a glance, while brushing crumbs from my shirt, and I froze. Under the lamp, a shadow still, upright, human-shaped, like mine, but longer, stiller, and I was inside. I blinked, once, twice. Tried to trace the lines, the angle, the source, but there was no one standing there, just the shadow. I laughed nervously, called it a trick of the light, maybe a branch, maybe a passing cat. But when I stepped out onto the porch, there was no one, nothing, and the shadow, gone. But I remember how cold the air felt on my skin, despite the warm wind. How it felt like I had just missed something, or maybe someone. That was the first time I felt it. That static just beneath the skin, that deep knowing, like a whisper pressed behind the eyes. She was already here. She had been waiting. At first, I tried to forget it. I told myself it was the wind, a trick of angles, just the mind, trying to find patterns in noise. But I started watching, not obsessively, just carefully. Each night I returned to the lamp, same path, same steps, and each night my shadow was waiting for me, not behind, waiting. It stood in the same spot under the light, facing me, or away, I could never be sure. And when I stepped forward, it moved too, but it didn't match me. It should have moved as I moved, lifted its arm when I lifted mine, turned when I turned, but it lagged, just slightly, a second too late, like someone repeating your motions from a memory they half remember. I tested it. I spun quickly in place. The shadow stuttered. I jumped. It didn't. Not right away. Then, almost embarrassed, it caught up. I don't know why that scared me more than if it hadn't moved at all. One night I whispered out loud, half laughing, "That's not how shadows work." And I swear to God, it nodded. I started filming it. Pulled out my phone, hit record, aimed the lens toward the glow. And on the screen, normal, just me, just a shadow. Playback looked fine. Perfect sync, smooth motion, no delay, no float. But I knew. The camera doesn't feel it. The lens doesn't feel that weird pull in the air, like the static between stations. But I did. Every time I moved near that lamp, something shifted. like my shadow was wearing a costume made of me. And some nights, I swear, it was waiting to take over. Maybe that sounds insane, but the mind knows before the mouth does. Something primal. Deep. I stopped walking after a while. Just watched. From the window. Behind the glass. Waiting to see if it would appear even when I didn't go out. And one night, it did. There. Under the flickering light. Still. Tall. Like a cutout of me pressed against the road. No source. No one casting it. Just a shadow. Standing on its own. I whispered again, not even thinking. "Who are you?" And I swear, this time, it turned its head. Just the head. Slow. Deliberate. No body movement. Just that slight tilt, like it was listening. I didn't go outside that night. I just backed away from the window, sat in the dark, tried to breathe, because something in me whispered, "She remembers you, even if you don't remember her." I was cleaning the back closet when I found it. A little gray flash drive. No label, no keyring, just sitting there, wedged between a box of old receipts and a jar of screws. I don't even remember putting it there. I don't remember owning it, but it looked familiar. The kind of familiar that stirs something just behind your ribs. I plugged it into my laptop that night, took a breath I didn't realize I was holding. One folder, all caps. "Do not open." Of course I opened it. Inside, 3 files. One was a text document, just plain letters. Another was a photo. The third on a short audio recording, just static, maybe wind. I clicked the document first, and my blood went cold. It wasn't just the words, it was the way they were written, the pacing, the phrasing, the mistakes. All of it, me. I don't mean like me. I mean, it was my writing style, my exact rhythm, the way I double space after commas, the way I overuse ellipses when I'm nervous. Even the typo I always make, definitely instead of definitely. It was mine. And the last lines read, "When the shadow matches you, you vanish." But it doesn't end there. You become the shadow for the next version. And then you forget. You always forget. I stared at the screen, read it again, and again, and again. This has to be a joke, a prank, some creepy internet file someone planted. But then I opened the photo, and that's when everything cracked. It was me, older, 15 years older, maybe 20. Same eyes, same jawline. But different, tired, like he'd seen too much, like he knew. He was standing in front of a mirror, and behind him, that same street lamp, my street lamp. My head was buzzing. Everything in me wanted to shut the laptop, walk away, burn the damn flash drive. But I didn't. I couldn't. Because deep down, something inside me whispered, "You remember this. You just don't know why yet." And that photo, the eyes in it, they weren't just looking at the camera. They were looking at me, like they were waiting, like they were watching to see when I'd finally catch up. It started with the dreams. Simple at first, blurry, disjointed, like watching someone else's memories through fog glass. But then they sharpened, and they began remembering me. I'd wake up on the couch, or in the hallway. Once, standing in the backyard, barefoot, staring at the street lamp. I didn't remember getting up, didn't remember unlocking the door, just the cold grass and the sound of my own breathing. But in the dreams, I wasn't me. I was something else, something behind. I would stand in corners and doorways and reflections that didn't belong to me, watching, and always, always, there was a man. Young, mid-30s, hair like mine, the same posture. He felt close, like muscle memory. He never saw me, not at first. He just went about his life, cooking, folding clothes, checking the window when the wind howled too hard. But I followed him, everywhere, not walking, just present, as if I was stitched into the edges of the room, and when he'd sleep, I'd move closer. Each dream ended the same way. He'd be standing under a street lamp, still, tired. Then he'd look up and stare right at me. His mouth would open, but the sound would come from inside me. "I know you." And I'd wake up, gasping, heart hammering, hands trembling like I'd touched something electric. But the worst part wasn't the fear, it was the recognition. Because in the dream, I didn't feel like the man being watched. I felt like the shadow watching him. I started seeing myself in mirrors, but only when I wasn't looking at them. Peripheral glances, just a flicker. A face not quite mine, longer, grayer. Eyes deeper set, hollow almost. And once, just once, I passed by the hallway mirror at night, and it didn't reflect me at all. It showed a room I didn't recognize, a different lamp, a different man, and I whispered without meaning to. "I've seen this. I've been this. But from where?" Reality began to thin, not rip, not shatter, just soften. Like the world was fog glass, and I was pressing my face against the other side. And I wondered, not for the first time, what if I'm already dreaming? What if the man I was watching me back? I left the house at 3 a.m. Didn't pack much, just enough to not look lost. Wallet, toothbrush, one change of clothes. I didn't tell anyone. Not that there was anyone to tell. I just left. Highway lights blurred past like memories I couldn't hold on to. I didn't have a destination, I just needed a way. But she came with me. Not as a thought, not as a dream, not as a fear I could explain away. She came like smoke, like shadow. I booked a room in a town I didn't recognize. One of those places with numbers instead of names. Room 114, yellow door, cheap bed, smelled like dust and bleach. I closed the curtains, locked the door, checked it twice, 3 times. But I felt her, in the mirror behind the TV, in the corner where the light didn't quite reach. And when I fell asleep, I dreamed of the lamp. Same one, same street, same buzz in the air. Even when I woke up in a motel hours away, the street lamp was still there in my mind, like it had been tattooed behind my eyes. I kept moving. Different towns, gas stations, briefcase motels with broken vending machines and plastic cups wrapped in plastic. But the pattern stayed. One night I found myself in the middle of the woods, parked under a sky so clear it didn't seem real. No people, no roads. But when I stepped outside the car, there it was. That same hum, that same sickly orange glow. The lamp, standing tall in the clearing, like it had grown there. And underneath it, not my shadow, but me, or something that looked like me. Facing away, waiting, I turned. I ran, didn't look back, drove until my hands cramped on the wheel. I thought I'd made it home. I didn't even remember turning into my street, but when I walked up the porch, I saw the light was already on inside, and I whispered to no one. I locked the door, but I knew she was already in. The shadow no longer followed. She walked beside me now, not behind, not ahead, with, like a part of me that had stopped pretending to be separate. And sometimes when the air is still and I'm alone in the quiet, I hear a voice, not far, not faint, close, my voice, but worn down, a version of me that sounds like it's been waiting a very, very long time. It doesn't say much, only this: we're almost there. I came back, not because I wanted to, because I knew I had to. The house felt different, not empty, never that, just rearranged, like something had exhaled and settled into place. The dust didn't move when I stepped in. The lights didn't flicker. They were already on. I didn't unpack, didn't sit, didn't think. I just walked to the window. Rain tapped the glass in slow, patient rhythm. The porch light buzzed like it always had, steady, familiar. And then I saw it. The glow. That old humming street lamp at the bend in the road, still there, still waiting. I stepped outside, let the rain soak through me. It didn't matter anymore. Every step felt lighter, not easier, just further from something I used to be. I walked to the lamp, didn't flinch when I saw the shadow, because this time I knew it wasn't mine, it was his. The man under the lamp looked like me, but younger, sharper. The eyes held questions I used to ask. He didn't see me, not yet. He stood there shivering slightly, looking around, feeling that same pull I once felt. And I stood nearby, not in the light, not in the dark, just at the edge, watching. I looked down. A puddle had formed at my feet, rippling gently in the rain. And in it, I saw eyes, not mine, but familiar, a little older, a little emptier, tired, but calm. And they blinked when I blinked, but not in sync, just after. Just enough to know they didn't belong to me anymore. I tried to speak, but the voice didn't come from my mouth. It came from behind me, or beneath, like it was being remembered by the world itself. Just 3 words, whispered like wind through tall grass. Now you're me. And then, after a pause that stretched across years I hadn't lived yet, and I'm already gone. The rain kept falling, the light kept humming, and the next version of me slowly turned his head toward the window, not seeing me, but starting to sense the way I once did.